Hello and welcome back to Immortal News. Today we come together to remember and honor the lives of 12 stars who left us on September 3rd and in the recent days. Our hearts go out to their families, friends, and fans across the globe. In addition to our tributes, we have some important updates to share, including news about the X Factor star Rylan Clark and a deeply tragic incident involving a 17-year-old and a police dog. As we navigate through these stories, we hope to bring some solace and closure to those who need it most. But before we dive in, please take a moment to give this video a thumbs up. Your support is invaluable to us and empowers us to continue doing what we love. From all of us at Immortal News, thank you. Number 12, Dr. Max Gomez, a pioneering medical journalist with a compassionate touch. Dr. Max Gomez, an influential and award-winning medical reporter for CBS New York, passed away on September 2, 2023, at the age of 72, after a prolonged illness. Known for his in-depth reporting and easy-to-understand style, Dr. Gomez served as a trusted voice in medical journalism for nearly 3 decades. Starting his tenure with WCBS-TV in 1994, Dr. Gomez became a cornerstone in the field of health and science journalism. He garnered numerous accolades throughout his career, including multiple New York and Philadelphia Emmy Awards, a UPI honor for Best Documentary on AIDS, and an Excellence in a Time of Crisis award from the New York City Health Department after 9/11, an honor he held dear. Born in Cuba and raised in Miami, Dr. Gomez was a cum laude graduate of Princeton University and earned his PhD from the Wake Forest University School of Medicine. Beyond his broadcasting achievements, he was a 3-time author and served on several national boards, including the American Heart Association. Notably, he was a NASA journalist and space semifinalist in 1986. His contributions extended beyond the newsroom. As an in-house medical consultant, he was eager to assist his colleagues with their health queries. During the COVID-19 pandemic, he was a steady voice of reason, providing clear and actionable guidance to a concerned public. In an era of increasing specialization, Dr. Gomez had the rare ability to engage with audiences on a range of topics, from sports and travel to complex medical conditions. Survived by his children, Max Gomez, Thor, and Katie Gomez, Dr. Gomez leaves a legacy of compassionate and insightful medical reporting that empowered viewers and earned the respect of the medical community. He will be remembered not only for the depth of his reporting, but also for the breadth of his wisdom and the warmth of his character. Tribute to Dr. Max Gomez. Number 11. Gail Hunnicutt, a transatlantic talent with an enduring legacy. Gail Hunnicutt, the Texas-born actress who made a lasting impression in both Hollywood and the United Kingdom, passed away on August 31, 2023, at the age of 80. Her death is announced today, leaving the world to mourn the loss of a remarkably talented and beloved figure. Her acting career was a tale of 2 continents. Her early years in Hollywood were marked by roles that capitalized on her stunning beauty, but it was in the UK that she came into her own, delivering powerhouse performances in television miniseries like The Golden Bowl and Fall of Eagles. Hunnicutt was born on February 6, 1943, in Fort Worth, Texas. Defying her parents' wishes, she attended the University of California, Los Angeles on a scholarship, balancing her education with part-time work. Her breakout came early at the age of 23, with roles in television and Roger Corman's film Wild Angels. Her personal life was as dynamic as her career. After marrying British actor David Hemmings, she moved to the UK, giving birth to her son Nolan. Despite the tumultuous nature of their marriage, which ended in divorce in 1974, the UK became her home. She later married journalist Sir Simon Jenkins, adding another chapter to her life as a social fixture in Britain. Perhaps best remembered for her role as Vanessa Beaumont in the iconic American television show Dallas, Hunnicutt showcased her range and depth across various media, from film to stage to television. She received accolades for her performances in theatrical productions like Hedda Gabler and her own project, The Life and Loves of Edith Wharton. Offstage, she authored books, including a compilation of her father's wartime love letters titled Dearest Virginia. Survived by her sons, Nolan and Edward, and 5 grandchildren, Hunnicutt leaves behind a legacy of versatility and resilience, straddling 2 continents but belonging to both. She was not just a beauty to be typecast, but a talent to be reckoned with, a woman who lived her life on her own terms. Tribute to Gail Hunnicutt. Number 10. Carol Bobko, a pioneering spirit in space exploration. Carol Bobko, the American Air Force pilot who gained renown for being the first to pilot the Space Shuttle Challenger into space, passed away at his home in Half Moon Bay, California. He was 85 years old. His son Paul reported that the cause of death was complications from an unspecified degenerative disease of the nervous system. Bobko joined NASA in 1969, but it wasn't until 14 years later that he went into space. He piloted the Challenger's maiden flight on April 4, 1983, nearly 3 years before the tragic explosion that would claim the lives of 7 astronauts. Bobko was also the first native of New York City to orbit the Earth, a milestone commemorated in a proclamation soon after the Challenger mission. Born on December 23, 1937 in Manhattan, Carol Bobko was raised in Queens and later in Seaford, Long Island. He graduated from Brooklyn Technical High School in 1955 and was part of the first graduating class of the United States Air Force Academy in 1959. Before joining NASA, he was part of the Defense Department's Manned Orbiting Laboratory program, which was eventually scrapped. Bobko then completed a master's degree in aerospace engineering in 1970 at the University of Southern California. Throughout his career, Bobko contributed to key NASA programs, including Skylab, Apollo-Soyuz, and the Space Shuttle program. He later commanded the Discovery and Atlantis space shuttles. His leadership qualities were often praised by his colleagues. He was a commander who led without ever getting angry with people or raising his voice, according to Dr. Jeffrey Hoffman, a fellow astronaut. Bobko retired from NASA and the Air Force in 1988. He went on to work for Booz Allen Hamilton and Space Hab, among other organizations, contributing to the space industry until his final years. He is survived by his wife Diane, his children Paul and Michelle, a grandson, and his brother Peter. The world will remember Carol Bobko as a pioneering astronaut who waited patiently for his turn to explore the cosmos and did so with exceptional skill and humility. Tribute to Carol Bobko. Number 9. Bill Pinckney, a trailblazing mariner who broke racial barriers. Bill Pinckney, heralded as the first black sailor to solo circumnavigate the globe via the challenging southern route, passed away on Thursday in Atlanta at the age of 87. Pinckney, aboard his 47-foot cutter named Commitment, embarked on this epic journey from Boston in August 1990. Over the course of nearly 2 years, he faced the many challenges and joys unique to a solo sailor, braving the formidable Cape Horn, dubbed the Mount Everest of sailing. His triumphant journey was not just a personal achievement, it was a symbol of breaking racial barriers. On his way to Cape Town, Pinckney hoisted a spinnaker in the colors of African American pride, red, black, and green, as a testament to his identity and heritage. Born in Chicago and raised by his hard-working mother, Pinckney's diverse career spanned roles from elevator mechanic to a makeup artist and from a cosmetics executive to a public information officer for Chicago. But it was his love for sailing that shone brightest. Later, he became a trustee of the Mystic Seaport Museum in Connecticut, overseeing the construction of a replica of the historical ship, Amistad. He continued his legacy by engaging with educational programs related to the African slave trade. In 2021, he was deservedly inducted into the National Sailing Hall of Fame. Through his journey, Pinckney highlighted that the sea does not discriminate. It treats everyone equally. Tribute to Bill Pinckney. Number 8. Nathan Lewis Jackson, a provocative voice in theater and television. Nathan Lewis Jackson, the acclaimed playwright and television writer known for tackling challenging social issues, passed away on August 22, 2023, at his home in Lenexa, Kansas. He was 44. His wife, Megan Mascoro Jackson, confirmed the death, citing that Jackson had faced cardiac issues, including an aortic dissection and an aortic aneurysm, in recent years. A Kansas native, Jackson first gained attention with his play Brokology, which premiered in 2008 at the Williamstown Theater Festival while he was still attending Juilliard School, the story of a struggling black family in Kansas City. Brokology earned praise for its nuanced characters and emotionally rich narrative. His later works like When I Come to Die, which delves into the emotional turmoil of a death row inmate, continued to explore serious issues with sensitivity and insight. Over his career, Jackson received numerous accolades, including the Lorraine Hansberry Playwriting Award and the Mark Twain Comedy Playwriting Award. Not content with conquering one medium, Jackson also wrote for popular television series like Luke Cage, 13 Reasons Why, and Shameless, further broadening his reach and influence. Apart from his illustrious career, Jackson had deep roots in his local community. He served as the playwright in residence at the Kansas City Repertory Theater from 2013 to 2019 and was a strong advocate for diverse representation in theater and television. Jackson is survived by his wife Megan, his mother Bessie, a daughter Amaya, a son Savion, a sister Ebony Maddox, and a brother Wardell. In a world where social issues often get simplified or sensationalized, Jackson's works stand as testaments to the complexities of human nature and societal constructs. Tribute to Nathan Lewis Jackson. Number 7. Richard Extract, an innovator in publishing and unlikely patron of video art. Richard Extract, a pioneering figure in magazine publishing who also played a significant but serendipitous role in Andy Warhol's artistic journey, passed away on August 7, 2023, in West Palm Beach, Florida. He was 92 years old, and the cause of his death was cancer, as announced by his son Stephen. Born on February 20, 1931, in Brooklyn, New York, Extract wore many hats throughout his life. He served as a lieutenant in the Army and was the editor of Infantry magazine before embarking on a career in publishing. His first magazine, Audio Times, initially struggled until audio electronics pioneer Avery Fisher became its first advertiser, providing a much-needed boost. Extract expanded his empire to include around 20 trade and consumer publications, notably Hampton's Cottages and Gardens, which spawned further regional franchises. He was lauded for innovating in a space many thought had little to offer, giving his publications the quality and aesthetic of national magazines, despite their regional focus. However, Extract's legacy also includes a surprising intersection with the world of art. In 1965, he lent Andy Warhol a prototype Norelco slant-track video camera. Warhol used the camera to create Outer and Inner Space, a seminal piece in video art history featuring Edie Sedgwick. As a thank you, Warhol gifted Extract with a series of silkscreen self-portraits, which went on to have complex lives of their own in the art market. Extract's eclectic tastes extended beyond publishing into art and architecture. Known for his strong opinions and colorful language, he was also renowned for his hiring and firing, running through 10 publishers in just 5 years for one of his magazines. He's survived by his wife Eileen, whom he married in 1990, his daughter Janet, his sons Stephen and Michael, and 4 grandchildren. A previous marriage to Claudia Tucker ended in divorce. Richard Extract was a man who understood the nuances of niche markets in publishing and was unafraid to venture into unknown territories, His impact on both the world of publishing and art is indelible. Tribute to Richard Extract. Number 6. Heath Streak, a pillar of Zimbabwean cricket and a life cut short. Heath Streak, former captain and leading wicket-taker for the Zimbabwe national cricket team, passed away on September 3rd at the age of 49 after a battle with colon cancer. His wife Nadine announced the news on Facebook, saying he had been carried to be with the angels surrounded by his family. Streak holds the record for the most wickets taken by a Zimbabwean in Test cricket, with 216 scalps, and in one-day internationals with 237. His cricketing prowess also included 7 5-wicket hauls in Tests and 1 in a 1997 ODI against India. He stands 7th on Zimbabwe's list of Test run scorers with 1,990 runs. Named captain in 2000, he resigned twice due to both cricketing and political challenges, but returned as the head coach of the national team in 2016. However, his career faced a dark turn in 2021 when he was banned from cricket for 8 years due to violations of the International Cricket Council's anti-corruption code. Beyond Zimbabwe, Streak had a coaching role with the Indian Premier League side Kolkata Knight Riders and captained Warwickshire in 2006. He also had coaching stints with Scotland and Somerset. Tributes from the cricketing world, including former Zimbabwe teammate Henry Olonga and India's Virender Sehwag, have poured in to honor his contributions to the sport. Streak's legacy, although marked by both achievements and controversies, remains significant in Zimbabwean cricket history. His talent, leadership, and dedication to the sport have left an indelible impact. Tribute to Heath Streak. Number 5. Raymond Moriyama, a visionary architect who shaped Canada's landscape. Raymond Moriyama, the celebrated Canadian architect renowned for designing some of Canada's most iconic buildings, such as the Ontario Science Centre and the Canadian War Museum, passed away on September 1st at the age of 93. Though the cause of death has not been disclosed, a statement from his firm, Moriyama and Tashima Architects, called for respect and privacy for the family, describing the world's loss of a visionary architect. Born in Vancouver in 1929, Moriyama's architectural journey began in a challenging context during his internment in a British Columbia camp in World War II. Despite adversity, he founded his architecture firm in 1958 and later partnered with Ted Tashima in 1970. Among his other seminal works are Ottawa's City Hall, the Badashu Museum, the Toronto Reference Library, and the Canadian Embassy in Tokyo. In recognition of his contribution, Moriyama was named a Companion of the Order of Canada in 2009 and also received the Governor-General's Award in Visual and Media Arts the same year. Moriyama's influence stretches beyond mere structures. He played an instrumental role in what has been termed the golden age of Canadian architecture after World War II, helping to transform Canada into the multicultural and diverse nation it is today. His buildings are not just aesthetically pleasing, but serve as inclusive spaces that reflect the ethos of the community. Richard M. Sommer, former dean of the John H. Daniels Faculty of Architecture at the University of Toronto, pointed out how Moriyama's design for the Ontario Science Centre revolutionized the concept of a museum from a static display to an interactive experience. Beyond the buildings, Moriyama leaves a personal legacy as well. Interned during World War II, he used his architectural skills to build a treehouse in the internment camp, which became a place of solace and a source of resilience and community engagement. Experience there shaped his professional ethos, driving him to contribute positively to his community and country. Tribute to Raymond Moriyama. Number 4. Tony Temptone, Quan, a pioneer of graffiti art and human resilience. Tony Temptone. Quan, the iconic graffiti artist who defied both artistic norms and physical limitations, passed away at the age of 54 on September 1st. Quan's death was confirmed this morning by LA Taco, following a 20-year battle with ALS. Born and raised in San Gabriel Valley, Temptone was a seminal figure in Los Angeles' graffiti culture, especially noted for his unique blending of Chinese calligraphic lines with classic serif Los Angeles Cholo letters. He was part of the city's renowned tagging crews STN, K2S, 213K, and FB, and was among the first to graffiti freeway overpasses in the city. In addition to his graffiti work, Quan also had a stint as a drummer in local punk bands and contributed to Big Time Graffiti magazine. What set him apart was his pioneering use of technology to overcome his physical limitations caused by ALS. In 2011, 9 years after his diagnosis, he became the first graffiti artist to draw using only his eye movements, thanks to iWriter, an open-source pair of digital eye-tracking glasses. This feat, showcased at the Pasadena Museum of California Art, was documented in his self-titled documentary, Getting Up the Temptone Story. His philosophy, know the history, respect the culture, and forge your own path, was an embodiment of his resilient spirit. Despite his condition, Quan continued to inspire many with his work and outlook, never seeing himself as a victim but rather as a fighter. As tributes flood the streets and walls of Los Angeles, Quan leaves behind a legacy of innovative artistry and indomitable spirit that will continue to inspire generations to come. Tribute to Tony Temptone, Quan. Number 3. Duboyega Odubanjo, a brilliant star in the poetry universe, gone too soon. Duboyega Odubanjo, an award-winning poet, passed away on August 31st near the Shambhala Festival in Northamptonshire, where he had been scheduled to perform. He was 27. The news of his death has shattered the poetry community and his loved ones. Police stated that there were no suspicious circumstances surrounding his demise. Odubanjo, born in Bromley, South London, had rapidly gained prominence in the world of poetry. His pamphlet, Anti-Uncle Poems, won the Poetry Business New Poets Prize in 2020. He was also the recipient of the Eric Gregory Award from the Society of Authors and the Michael Marks Pamphlet Award. At the time of his death, he was pursuing a PhD in creative writing at the University of Hertfordshire. Besides his own work, Odubanjo served as an editor for Bad Pretty Press, an independent poetry publisher that described him as an incomparable poet and a beloved friend and colleague. His influence was not confined to his written words. He actively mentored and supported emerging artists, contributing invaluable expertise and companionship to the broader poetry community. His godmother, Antonia Onigbode, and the University of East Anglia, where he studied between 2014 and 2019, both testified to his exceptional gifts and bright future, marking his passing as a profound loss to both his family and the world of arts and humanities. Though his life was tragically cut short, Duboyega Odubanjo leaves behind a legacy of poetic brilliance and a spirit of generosity that will not be forgotten. Tribute to Duboyega Odubanjo. Yeah. Breaking news, News 1. In an escalating series of unfortunate events, 17-year-old Stefan Ford was fatally shot by police after he allegedly killed Clayton County Police K9 Warrow during a chase. The tragic incident began when Jonesboro police were investigating suspicious activity at a hotel. While 2 men were arrested at the scene, Ford escaped into a nearby wooded area. K9 Warrow was deployed and located Ford, who then reportedly shot at officers, fatally wounding the dog. An extremely tragic situation for all involved. said Clayton Assistant Police Chief Bruce Parks, emphasizing the toll it takes on both law enforcement and the suspect's family. Adding to the poignancy of the situation, a bullet and stab-proof vest had just been ordered for Warrow through a charitable donation but had not yet been deployed. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation has taken over the inquiry. News 2. In a heart-rending turn of events, Rylan Clark's 71-year-old mother, Linda, suffered a horror fall during a family holiday abroad, forcing the X Factor star to cancel his BBC Radio 2 show. Rylan has since updated fans on Linda's condition, posting an Instagram picture of her in the hospital, smiling despite being covered in bandages and sporting a sling. "Someone is out of the bed and in a chair," wrote Rylan, grateful for the overwhelming support. She can't believe how many people have sent messages. Thanks, everyone. While Linda's other health complications, including Crohn's disease, had initially worsened the situation, Rylan assured fans that the surgery went well and that she is on the path to recovery. This poignant update comes just a year after Rylan revealed the depth of his bond with his mother and her struggles with Crohn's disease on Fearne Cotton's Happy Place podcast, stating, "I will do anything for my mom." News 3. Dion Sanders, known as Coach Prime, has been an unstoppable force in college football's offseason, transforming Colorado's struggling Buffaloes into the sport's latest sensation, all before coaching his first game. But the spotlight isn't solely on his coaching. Sanders has conquered life-altering health challenges, from multiple invasive surgeries to amputating 2 toes, sidelining him last year and landing him back in the hospital this offseason. In a stunning health update, Sanders told USA Today he's experiencing far less pain, crediting recent surgeries that improved leg circulation. Colorado's assistant athletic director, Lauren Askevold, hailed his recovery as insane, noting the 56-year-old can now stand upright. In an emotional revelation, Sanders shared his ongoing battle for normalcy, the ability to walk pain-free. As the Buffaloes gear up for a season opener against TCU, the indomitable spirit of Coach Prime is a lesson in resilience for his players and fans alike. News 4. Just weeks after returning from her first parent-free holiday in Mallorca, Leah Rogers, a 17-year-old Welsh teen full of life and promise, died from a rare immune condition called hemophagocytic lymphohistiocytosis. Initially misdiagnosed as tonsillitis, Leah's condition swiftly escalated into liver failure and then a devastating diagnosis that left her family grappling with the unthinkable. Leah, an aspiring intensive care nurse who scored A's and B's in her GCSEs, loved life and loved people, according to her mother, Kath Rogers. Her sudden decline left seasoned liver specialists baffled. They had never seen a case like Leah's in their combined 90 years of practice. Her grieving parents, Kath and Hugh Rogers, are now championing awareness for HLH, backed by a supportive community that's already raised over £20,000 for Histio UK. The Rogers family is holding another fundraiser this month, keeping Leah's memory alive while fighting for a cure. Never take life for granted. People don't realize what they have until it's taken away, Hugh Rogers warns, sharing a lesson learned from the harshest experience any parent can endure. Now it's time to remember the legends who passed away in the past years. Number 2. Ruth Olay, a melodious soundtrack to the jazz era, a life lived in full harmony. Ruth Olay, an iconic jazz singer with a career spanning 4 decades, passed away on September 3rd in 2021 at her home in Desert Hot Springs, California. She was 97. Born on July 1, 1924 in San Francisco, Olay began her life in music as a piano prodigy, but eventually found her true calling in jazz singing. Before rising to stardom, Olay worked as a secretary to Oscar-winning filmmaker Preston Sturges at Paramount Pictures. She took a daring leap in 1951, leaving her stable job to perform professionally for the first time in San Diego with black band leader Benny Carter. Initially going by the pseudonym Rachel Davis to avoid racial controversy, she soon became a sought-after performer, known for her melodious sound and 3.5-octave range. Olay's breakthrough came with her 1956 album, It's About Time, released under Zephyr Records. This garnered her the attention she deserved and led to long-standing engagements at top clubs, including filling in for jazz legends like Billie Holiday and Abbey Lincoln. Olay's musical reach extended from the Avant-Garde Club to shows hosted by Jack Parr, Merv Griffin, and Steve Allen. She even performed with Duke Ellington on an all-star jazz show and on The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson. Ruth Olay's unique voice held a potent blend of jazzy confidence and underlying vulnerability that struck a chord with her audiences. She leaves behind a rich legacy that is immortalized in her recordings across various labels, including Mercury, Everest, ABC Paramount, and Laurel. She was married to agent Lee McGidd, with whom she had a son, and is survived by her children Amy and Adam. As a mother, a musician, and an icon, Ruth Olay's life was a symphony of memorable melodies and soul-stirring harmonies. Tribute to Ruth Olay. Number 1. Walter Becker, the lyrical cynic and jazz virtuoso of Steely Dan. Walter Becker, the enigmatic guitarist and co-founder of the seminal band Steely Dan, passed away on September 3rd at the age of 67 in 2017. He leaves behind a remarkable legacy of musical innovation and storytelling, joining forces with keyboardist and lead vocalist Donald Fagen, while both were students at Bard College in New York. Named after a provocative object from William S. Burroughs' countercultural novel, The Naked Lunch, Steely Dan garnered both critical and commercial acclaim. Between 1972 and 1980, the duo, alongside a rotating cadre of talented musicians, produced 7 influential albums, including the critically acclaimed Aja, which sold over 5 million copies. With hits like Reelin' in the Years, Ricky Don't Lose That Number, Do It Again, and Deacon Blues, the band fused intricate jazz compositions with cryptic and often cynical lyrics. Overall, Steely Dan sold 40 million albums. After disbanding in 1980, Fagen and Becker reunited 20 years later and captured a Grammy for their album Two Against Nature. Becker was lauded for his guitar work and songwriting skills, both of which were integral to the band's unique sound. The musicianship was so influential that Mark Ronson noted Becker as one half of the team I aspire to every time I sit down at a piano. Celebrities and musicians flooded social media to pay tribute. Donald Fagen released a heartfelt statement acknowledging Becker as smart as a whip, an excellent guitarist, and a great songwriter. Fagen pledged to keep the music we created together alive as long as I can with the Steely Dan Band. Becker's work transcended musical genres, inspiring artists from hip-hop to indie folk, and his lyrical profundity coupled with musical dexterity will ensure that his influence reverberates for years to come. Tribute to Walter Becker. The 12 notable figures we've sadly lost on August 22nd. And in the days that followed. In our news segment, we'll delve into the devastating events in North Carolina, where a house explosion claimed the life of Tennessee Titans cornerback Caleb Farley's father. We'll also discuss the tragic incident in California, where Laura Ann Carlton, a staunch supporter of LGBTQ+ rights, was fatally shot while defending her store's pride flag. Stay with us for these poignant stories, and if you value our coverage, please like this video and support.